Hi, this is Andy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be flipping a very small chest of drawers. It will prove to be a nightmare. Come with me in my journey to renovate it. I bought this little chest of drawers for $20 in Facebook Marketplace. I love these pieces because they can be used as bedside tables, entryway tables, dressers, and so on. They are very versatile. On first inspections, I can see that this is not an antique. It was probably made out of scrap wood. Here, you can see me inspecting and wondering why. I started by cleaning it. I spent a couple of days at my dad's house and I took the drawers with me and I sanded them as much as I could. You can see that the manufacture is primitive and the wood looks like bark. Back in my apartment, I started with some repairs. There are a lot of cracks and gaps. Everything has separated over time. The back panel is warped and it has a big hole. I'll start by removing every single piece of wood that is not properly fixed. I'll then reattach the dividers with wood glue and screws. I glued some of the broken pieces and cleaned the drapes. Here you can see the state and quality of the wood. It looks like ash or holm oak, but I can't be sure. Unfortunately, the top is warped, full of nails and it's not salvageable, so I'll remove it. This wood is really hard and green inside and has a peculiar scent, like very subtle vanilla. I'll keep it for future projects. I had 2 planks of pine that I'll be using to replace the top. And then I sanded, and you guessed it, sanded. I try to get as much of the old white latex out as possible, but I'll be painting the body, so I just need a smooth surface. I applied some 2-part putty, aka Bondo, to the many holes, cracks and gaps of the piece. The plastic bag was not a good idea, so I'll mix the putty right on the piece. The drawer's bottom and back panels were warped and barky looking, so I'll be replacing them. So much glue and repairs. This looks like the Ugly Duckling Challenge. With a chisel, I removed the lumps of the old paint. And then applied putty to the gaps and holes. With a square palm sander and 60 grit, I started smoothing the putty. Everything was full of nails. Some of the side panels of the drawers were broken, so I repaired them using the back panels. I glued them, clamped, and let them dry overnight. Here, I am cutting those awful feet. I'll be making a new base. The front of the dresser needed an extra slab to be level with the rest of the piece, so I glued and used screws to attach it. Needless to say, it was freezing. Some days later, I used my jack plane to level the surface, and then sanded it to make it smooth. Then applied some wood filler to hide any gap. I then started building the drawers. I glued and screwed the sides and used new wood for the back panels. The front panels were made of that green hardwood and they were too tall for the openings, so I had to trim them. I'll make the bottom panels using some scrap textured plywood. I'll attach them to the frames using screws. Believe me, they will look really nice. Too big. A broken piece. Repairs and more repairs. I've been working for almost 2 weeks now. This front panel ended up being too big. Trim and cut again. There were no sliders, so I'll make new ones. I'll measure and cut the new top. If you have enjoyed this video so far, consider liking and subscribing. That will help this channel a lot. In the description below, you'll find links to my wish lists and to buy me a coffee. Any help will be greatly appreciated. I'm measuring and gluing the top before attaching it with screws. I'll repeat the base, that I did for the Ugly Duckling challenge of this year. If you want more info on how to make it, click on the card above. I mean, I love handmade pocket holes, but they don't look professional. So from now on, any coffee from my Buy Me a Coffee app will go to buying a Craig jig. I decided to create L-shaped sliders to guide the drawers. Here you see me drilling holes and countersink holes. And it is time for that back panel to go. I can finally clean that part well. I'm going to use my last floor slat to make a back panel, but before, it was time to secure those slides on the top. I nailed the new back panel in place. I sanded the top starting with 60 grit, then 100 grit, 120 and 240 grit sandpaper. I smoothed everything and sanded the edges. I attached the new legs. And here it is, much taller. Some wood filler to conceal the union. This drawer doesn't fit. Planing and more planing. I am going to use some wood slats to decorate the front of the drawers. I measured, applied glue, and placed the little pieces in place. I clamped and let them dry overnight. I repeated the process with the 3 drawers. It was finally time to tint. I used Verathing's oil-based stain in dark walnut. As usual, I applied it with a foam brush, wiping the excess immediately with some paper towel. That night, I applied a thick coat of water-based poly in satin. As pine wood is a very soft wood, I want to protect it as much as I can. Then more sanding with 240 grit, and finally stain. I will also stain them inside, as they are made from different kinds of wood. What's going on, Milo? What do you want? I love you too. I covered all the stained parts and proceeded to mix a custom. I'll be mixing coastal navy blue and black in order to get a dark blue hue. This will be in chalk paint. I painted using a natural bristle brush. If you have seen my videos, I always pay attention to the back. In this case, I'm painting it black. In between coats, I like putting my brush in a plastic bag so it doesn't dry. I gave the piece a total of 2 coats of. I drilled the holes for the hardware. Then it was time to apply the top coat to the front of the drawers. Before going on, I waxed and protected the whole interior with beeswax, as well as the exterior and the interior of the drawers. I finally attached the hardware, and after a month of work, I could finally have this piece ready. And here it is. It looks quite elegant and modern. I hope you liked it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.